Welcome to Chasing Curiosity TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Why has a nation of over 7,000 islands become a focal point in the greatest geopolitical drama of the 21st century? What makes this archipelago, scattered across the western Pacific, so vital that the world's superpowers are drawn into its orbit? The Philippines, an archipelago nation in Southeast Asia, finds itself at the very center of a monumental contest between the United States and China. Its unique geography and strategic position have placed it squarely in the crosshairs of global power politics. The waters surrounding its shores, particularly the South China Sea, have transformed into a stage for a grand strategic competition. Trillions of dollars in trade pass through these waters each year, making control over these sea lanes a matter of global importance. For China, the Philippines represents a critical link in its ambition to establish regional dominance. Control or influence here would help secure vital maritime routes and project power far beyond its own shores. For the United States, the Philippines is a treaty ally and a crucial partner in maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific. The long-standing alliance is seen as a cornerstone of America's presence in Asia and a bulwark against growing Chinese assertiveness. The archipelago's location makes it an unsinkable aircraft carrier in a sea of strategic uncertainty. Its islands offer forward bases, airstrips, and ports that are essential for projecting military power and responding to crises in the region. The drama unfolding is not merely a local dispute, it is a microcosm of a global power transition. The Philippines stands at the intersection of shifting alliances, economic ambitions, and military strategies. The Philippines is not a passive pawn in this great game. Its leaders and people are acutely aware of their nation's significance and the risks and opportunities that come with it. It is an active player with its own national interests and sovereignty to protect. The country's actions and decisions can tip the balance in this high-stakes contest. The nation's leaders must constantly weigh the benefits of economic engagement with China against the security assurances offered by the United States. Every agreement, every handshake is a careful calculation in a complex diplomatic equation. The nation serves as a barometer for the health of the US-China relationship and the stability of the entire Indo-Pacific. What happens here sends ripples across the globe, influencing decisions in capitals far beyond Asia. The story of the Philippines is the story of a nation caught between two competing visions for the future, one that must navigate the treacherous waters of great power rivalry while striving to chart its own independent course. The South China Sea is far more than a vast expanse of water. It is the pulsating economic heart of the global economy. An estimated one-third of global maritime shipping, valued at over $3 trillion annually, transits through these waters. This includes the majority of the energy supplies that fuel the economic engines of China, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Any disruption in this vital corridor would send immediate shockwaves through the global supply chain. For China, the South China Sea is an indispensable gateway to the rest of the world. This dependency creates a profound sense of vulnerability for Beijing's leaders. Beyond the transit routes, the South China Sea itself holds immense natural resources. The seabed is believed to contain significant reserves of oil and natural gas. The competition for these resources adds another complex layer to the existing territorial disputes. The stability of this maritime domain is directly linked to the stability of the global economy. China's perspective on the South China Sea is deeply rooted in a narrative of historical right and strategic necessity, a perspective that has been cultivated over decades. Beijing's claim is encapsulated by the Nine-Dash Line, a sweeping demarcation that encompasses nearly 90% of the sea, asserting a vast maritime territory. This historical claim, though rejected by an international tribunal in 2016, remains a non-negotiable principle for the Chinese government, which views it as a matter of national pride and sovereignty. Chinese leaders see the control of the South China Sea as essential for national security, ensuring the protection of vital trade routes and resources. By establishing a dominant presence within the Nine-Dash Line, Beijing aims to break perceived containment and secure a safe passage for its fleet, which is crucial for its economic and military strategies. To turn this ambition into reality, China has engaged in a campaign of island building and militarization, transforming reefs into fortified outposts. These actions fundamentally alter the strategic landscape, challenging the maritime dominance of the United States Navy in the region and escalating tensions between the two powers. For China, the South China Sea is a test of its rise as a great power, a demonstration of its growing influence and determination to assert its place on the world stage. The 9-dash line is more than a line on a map. It is a declaration of intent, a symbol of China's ambitions and its vision for the future. The United States views the South China Sea through a completely different lens. For Washington, the primary interest is upholding the principle of freedom of navigation. The U.S. sees China's expansive claims as a direct assault on this foundational rule of the global commons. This commitment is deeply intertwined with American economic and security interests. China's attempt to create a de facto exclusion zone directly challenges U.S. naval supremacy. To counter China's actions, the United States conducts regular freedom of navigation operations. These operations are carefully calibrated legal and diplomatic statements. The U.S. interest is tied to its role as a security guarantor in the region. Washington's stance is about defending an idea, an interest, and its allies. The Philippines is not just another country in Southeast Asia, its geography makes it the strategic keystone of the entire region. With over 7,000 islands stretching across the western Pacific, the Philippines forms a natural bridge between the Asian mainland and the vast Pacific Ocean. Its location is not only unique but also immensely valuable in both economic and military terms. The archipelago sits directly on the eastern edge of the South China Sea, near major shipping lanes and China's artificial island fortresses. Every year, trillions of dollars worth of trade passes through these waters, making control and access to these routes a top priority for global powers. This geographic placement gives the Philippines an extraordinary degree of influence over the maritime domain. Its Navy and Coast Guard are constantly on alert, monitoring one of the world's busiest and most contested waterways. For the United States, access to Philippine ports and airfields provides a crucial forward presence. These bases allow rapid deployment and logistical support, enhancing America's ability to project power and respond to crises in the Indo-Pacific. The Philippines acts as a strategic buffer and a launching pad, making it a linchpin in Washington's Indo-Pacific strategy. Joint military exercises and intelligence sharing further cement this vital partnership. For China, the Philippines presents a strategic obstacle. Its proximity to Chinese territory and its alliances complicate Beijing's ambitions in the region. A Philippines aligned with the United States is a significant threat to China's security calculus. The growing defense cooperation between Manila and Washington is closely watched in Beijing. The Philippines' own sovereignty claims place it in direct opposition to China's 9-dash line. Filipino fishermen and citizens regularly confront Chinese vessels, highlighting the ongoing tensions. The 2016 arbitral tribunal ruling gave Manila a strong legal and moral basis for its position. This international decision was celebrated as a victory for the rule of law and for smaller nations standing up to larger powers. Its geography makes it a physical barrier, and its legal victory makes it a normative one. The Philippines stands at the crossroads of great power competition, shaping the future of the Indo-Pacific. Caught between the competing interests of a rising China and a resident United States, the Philippines is engaged in a high-stakes balancing act. This is not a simple choice between two patrons. On one hand, the allure of China is undeniable, offering immense opportunities for trade and investment. Aligning more closely with China could unlock a torrent of economic benefits. On the other hand, the United States represents the bedrock of Philippine security. The Mutual Defense Treaty remains the cornerstone of the country's external defense strategy. This strategic dilemma forces Manila to walk a diplomatic tightrope. Leaning too far towards Washington risks antagonizing Beijing. Conversely, leaning too far towards Beijing risks compromising Philippine sovereignty. The challenge for Filipino leaders is to carve out a path of strategic autonomy. The strategic importance of the Philippines has turned the country into a key square on the geopolitical chessboard. China and the United States are actively courting the Philippines, employing a full spectrum of statecraft. China's strategy is heavily reliant on economic inducement, promising massive infrastructure projects. This approach is designed to create a powerful pro-China constituency within the Philippines. In contrast, the United States leverages its long-standing security ties and shared values. Washington's primary tool is the Mutual Defense Treaty and extensive military cooperation. Beyond military and economic maneuvers, both sides are engaged in a battle for hearts and minds. Each power is trying to shape the narrative within the Philippines. the Philippines finds itself in the enviable but dangerous position of being wooed by two suitors. The intense competition in the South China Sea is not a contained regional issue. Its consequences ripple outwards, placing significant strain on the established global order. China's outright rejection of the 2016 arbitral ruling challenges the rules-based system. This erosion of international law creates a more dangerous and unpredictable world. The rivalry also threatens the stability of the entire Indo-Pacific region. A minor incident could quickly escalate into a major international crisis. The South China Sea has become one of the world's most dangerous flashpoints. The competition is forcing other nations in the region to choose sides. The US-China rivalry is reshaping the geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific. The Philippines stands at a historic crossroads, and the path it chooses will have consequences that extend far beyond its own shores. It is no longer a passive observer in the great power competition. Manila's actions can either reinforce the existing rules-based international order or contribute to its erosion. By asserting its rights under international law, the Philippines can serve as a crucial bulwark against unilateral revisionism. This principled stance can embolden other Southeast Asian nations to take a firmer line. Conversely, acquiescing to Chinese pressure would have a profoundly destabilizing effect. It would signal that legal victories are meaningless in the face of economic and military power. The long-term stability of the Indo-Pacific depends on a balance of power and respect for international law. The future of maritime order depends on the courage and strategic foresight of nations like the Philippines. The Philippines can help shape a more stable, prosperous, and secure future for the entire Indo-Pacific.